Hello Pisces, welcome to my channel. It is an absolute blessing and such a pleasure to be here with you. So thank you for being here with me for your October 2023 Tarotscope. In the description box below, there will be links to all sorts of goodies, including my social media pages, information on personal readings, and information on donations if you would like to explore any of those options. There will also be a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. I'd like to start off by apologizing for the delay in getting this reading to you. I know we're in November, but I took a vacation in the middle of October and came back and got quite ill. And that brought me to the beginning of November, and I have been trying to catch up ever since. So I do apologize, but I didn't want to leave you hanging for the month of October. So we're going to be time traveling a bit, going back to October and looking at the overall energy, what came to an end for you last month, what was reborn, renewed, or began for you, and getting some wisdom that would best support your healing, growth, and evolution with what came through for you. October was a universal 8-month, which is an energy of renewal and a reminder that all things in life are connected to the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. We were asked to focus on universal connectedness and collective humanity. It also brought forward self-empowerment vibes that pulled us toward expansion, growth, and divine compassion. So do keep that information in mind as we dive into your Tarotscope. Let's see what came through for you last month. We are working with a lot of cards for this Tarotscope, so I do appreciate your patience. I am setting the intention that whoever should find this reading and take the time to listen will gain clarity and or confirmation in what took place for them in October and what may be coming as they move forward. So let's dive in. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us please about the overall energy of October 2023 for Pisces. What was the overall? Okay, thank you. Tell us please about what came to an end. I feel this one here. Tell us please what has been reborn, renewed, or began. Thank you. And tell us please what wisdom will best support Pisces in their healing, growth, and evolution based on what came through for them last month, October 2023, please. I don't know why, Pisces, but I feel like there's something about your energy that felt very all over the place. I also just got the word revelations. So I do feel as though your energy maybe was a bit scattered, or your attention may have been drawn to a lot of different places or energies or perspectives. And I feel like some of those things dropped in new information for you where you were having these kind of like, oh, that's what that is kind of energy. Of course, as with everything on this channel, and as I said earlier, take only what resonates with you. Tell us more, please, about the overall energy of October 2023 for Pisces. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about the overall energy. Okay. I feel like I need to add these. Which direction, please? Okay. I need to add those to your overall energy. I believe nothing comes from nothing. So that slip of the tongue certainly meant, for me anyways, that there was more information there for you. So tell us, please, about what came to an end for Pisces last month. Tell us more. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about what has been reborn, renewed, or began for Pisces. There it is. That one too. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about the wisdom that would best support Pisces in their healing, growth, and evolution. Thank you. All right, what else do we need to know, please, about the overall energy of last month, October 2023, for Pisces? I feel like that one there, thank you. Tell us more, please, about what came to an end. Tell us more, please, about what came to an end for Pisces last month, October 2023. Tell us more. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about what was reborn. Okay, thank you. Tell us more, please, about the wisdom that will best support Pisces in their healing growth and evolution based on what came through for them last month, October 2023, please. Tell us more, please, about the wisdom that would best support Pisces in their healing growth and evolution based on what came through for them last month. I don't know. This may be for someone very specific, Pisces, but I feel like some of you were getting wisdom, thank you, that maybe you were ignoring or avoiding or weren't listening to or didn't trust or doubted for some reason. I feel like whatever this is about, it may have something to do with a situation, a person, or some kind of information that may have made you a bit uncomfortable or brought up a lot of fear in you. This may have been something that you were not ready or did not want to face or address. I don't know what that is, but that's what it feels like to me. So again, take it as it resonates. Okay, anything else we need to know or may have missed about the overall energy of last month, October 2023 for Pisces, please? There it is. Thank you. Anything we need to know or may have missed about what came to an end for Pisces last month? Okay, thank you. Interesting. Anything we need to know or may have missed, please, about what was reborn, renewed, or began for Pisces last month, October 2023? Anything we need to... Okay, thank you. And anything else we need to know or may have missed about the wisdom that will best support Pisces in their healing growth and evolution? Thank you. Okay, so let's dive in, Pisces. The overall energy of last month, or October 2023, for you is Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. What I find to be incredibly fascinating about this, Pisces, is that you are that sign that has that keyword, if you will, or characteristic of being mystical or mystic, intuitive, even psychic, sensitive to those energies or things that maybe we can't see with our physical eyes. So I do find this really fascinating. There is water here in the picture as well, which I feel is connected to the fact that you are a water sign with the ability to tap into those more mystical, psychic, intuitive, sensitive, or spiritual energies. It does feel to me like some of you have tried to kind of, how do I say this, you guys? I can feel you getting triggered already, some of you. But I feel like some of you do have a stronger connection, let's say, to your intuition. But I feel like some of you pick and choose which intuitive hits to follow. It's almost as if some of you may get certain hits or intuitive nudges, and it's like, oh, well, that doesn't, if it brings up like a fear or a doubt, or if it brings up some discomfort, I feel like you won't follow that. Or if it's not in alignment with the plans that you are trying to make for yourself, or that you, it's a very interesting energy, Pisces, I'm going to be honest. So trying to translate it is a little bit challenging, but it does feel like there's this energy. For example, if you have made certain moves and decided certain things to go this direction. If your intuition is saying go this way, I feel like there are those of you listening who would ignore that, who would avoid it, who are like, okay, well, I'm not listening to that one, right? It's almost like wanting to control things versus surrendering to them. I'm not really sure where that's coming from, but it does feel like you could, again, be avoiding or denying or ignoring certain intuitive hits, or have been doing that previously. With this card, I do feel like there's this kind of call for you, or there was this kind of call for you in the month of October to really take what your intuition brings to you and to go with that. I do feel like there are certain callings or paths that you may have more opportunities in to grow, heal, and evolve should you walk them. But for some reason I feel like it's kind of butting heads or something with what you think you should be doing. Okay? And again, maybe that doesn't resonate with everyone, but it really does feel that there is almost this conflict within, or this butting of heads, if you will, between what your intuition and God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, is speaking to you, and what you think you should be doing based on perhaps wounding, programming, trauma. And maybe you don't even realize it that way or recognize it that way, because you may feel like you're doing things to improve your life. And maybe that is true when we look at it from a very kind of material or physical perspective. But as far as your spirit, your soul, your evolution in that way is concerned, I feel like perhaps that path that you think you should be walking isn't helpful in those areas. I hope that makes sense. I do feel like there's something here with fear around addressing certain things, and I'm not sure exactly what that might be for you specifically. Certainly that could look different for everyone, if you resonate with this, but I feel as though there are things that you are like, okay, that's something I'm not going to touch, and it feels like it does come from fear, right? It feels like, I don't know, like you made certain choices and it's like you're, to the best of your ability, not looking back in a very physical kind of sense. So you're not like turning around, you're not going to that place or to that person or whatever it is. But I feel like your heart, your intuition, your soul keeps bringing you back to that person, that or that place or that thing, that situation, whatever it is. And I feel like for some of you, this is something that you like wish you could escape, but you can't. Okay. It feels like you may have this situation, this person, place, whatever it is, pop up in your awareness at random. It could pop up in your dreams, your meditations, when you're just by yourself, minding your own business. I feel like this thing shows up for you because it's trying to get your attention, and it's trying to get you to address it, or to whatever, to find some sort of resolution, atonement, peace. I'm not sure what it is, but it's like every time I try to like go into the energy, it feels like I want to avoid it. Okay. So I'm going to actually read from the guidebook for you from this card. I just feel like there could be something else here that is helpful for you moving forward. So give me a moment to figure out where this card is, because these are not in an alphabetical order. So just a moment. Bear with me. I'm getting fear coming up as well, because I feel like for some of you, you already know what this is. And I feel like you are like, crap, like now I'm called out type of thing. Okay, so again, this is in regards to the overall energy of last month for you. It says here, the Sisterhood of the Rose is a lineage of priestesses and mystics who devoted their lives to serving humanity and seeding light consciousness all over the earth. A cross-section of ancient lineages It is the path of devotion and beauty. Walking this path means being devoted to seeing and creating beauty wherever you go. The rose symbolizes the heart and the sacred geometry of all life. You are being called to notice the beauty around you, particularly in nature, and hear the whispers of Mother Earth. You are being called to spend more time in nature, as all the ancient secrets live there. Mother Earth is constantly whispering. Spending time admiring her creations, spend time admiring her creations, and you will be rewarded with insight and grace. You are being called to take a little more time to both notice the beauty that exists all around you and contribute to the beauty of the world in your own way. This could be through your own creations or in the little things like how you dress to picking flowers for your home. Every time you devote your time to creating beauty, you harmonize the planet a little more and shift in the vibration and a shift, in vibration can be felt. So this is, I don't know, it's very interesting to me, right? Because I don't really do anything without feeling called, especially in readings. Um, and I feel like there may be some of you. Okay, yes, thank you. Okay. It's like, here, let's clear this up for you. um, so I do feel like for some of you, you may have spent quite a bit of time in nature, actually. I actually just got the word hiking. So you may find joy or pleasure or peace or something in that, some kind of serenity. And I feel like if this is you, it seems like while you're doing those things, um, in those more quiet, peaceful moments where you're a bit more relaxed, a bit more carefree, maybe you feel a bit more at home, um, or your connection to nature is stronger. It feels like you could be getting messages at that time too. And as a matter of fact, I feel like that might be the times when it's like yelling at you. I just got the word work. Some of you may work outside and you may just be minding your business, doing your work, whatever that might be, and are getting these nudges, these things that are coming in. Again, I feel as though whatever this is that's calling to you, okay, it feels like something about that person, situation, whatever it is, brings some level of like beauty into your world. And I don't know what that looks like specifically. It could just be that, let's say, for example, it's a person, that this person's energy is just, you just feel differently about the world when you're with them or when you've been with them. Um, it may just be that their energy, you find their energy to be something beautiful. Or maybe there's a situation that you once felt was very beautiful to you, or something like that, or made you believe in beauty, or something along those lines. And again, for whatever reason, there may have been some kind of trauma or something that took place where there's now this fear of that. I don't know what it is. I maybe for some of you, whatever the situation, maybe you felt like you like were undeserving or unworthy, or like you didn't belong there, or you didn't fit in there or something. But I do feel that last month it's very possible that, God, source, universe, your intuition, angels, whatever you resonate with, was trying to get you to address that again, or to analyze, look at it again, or to get back into the energy. It's very interesting to me. Again, it's a little bit difficult to translate, so I hope that this is making sense. But it does feel that, there's something that has been calling to you, that brought some level of beauty into your world that you have avoided or ignored or denied or feared or something. And I do feel like if this is for you, I feel like you know what it is. Like, I really do. I feel like it would be obvious. Okay, like, because that avoidant energy is like super intentional. Okay. Okay, so we do have the Lovers. This could certainly be a person. Okay, this could certainly be some kind of relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be love or a romantic partnership or relationship, but it certainly could point to that. This could also have something to do with your personal beliefs. And again, I think what's very interesting about this is that there was an element that I was picking up on where there's this feeling of like unworthiness or something. So you may have personal beliefs or may have had personal beliefs about a certain maybe relationship, connection, certain, this is interesting as well because so in the tarot, the Lovers is a representation of Gemini, and Gemini energy is very communicative. Okay. It's very insightful. It's very intelligent. It is inquisitive. And also it's also adaptable, but I feel like, how do I say this? There could have been things in regards to perhaps it could be a relationship, personal beliefs, values, even perhaps it could be about love, or attraction or emotions. But I feel as though you guys, I really feel like there are some of you who are like, I really do not want you to be talking about this right now. Okay. Because it almost feels as like I'm getting this like, oh, please don't open that door. Please don't open that door. Please don't open that door type of energy. But again, I feel like whatever this is for you, brought some kind of beauty, or there was some kind of attraction to something, and maybe something happened where you felt like you couldn't communicate clearly, where you felt like, again, there was this, or there was this feeling of like unworthiness or something. And I feel like this was coming up a lot for you in October. I feel like it is one of those things that was very much in your face. Another energy I'm getting here is because Gemini is that communicative energy. I feel like it was like universe was like throwing it at you again and again and again and again. But you may have been looking at this situation from a more almost logical perspective, or a more, or looking at it from a space of like reason, or analytically or something. Again, where it feels like that calling to you was avoided in some way because maybe it didn't seem logical in accordance to or with whatever plans you have for your own life, whatever you think you should be doing. And again, this all feels very kind of almost removed, if you will, from that more spiritual perspective, because it feels like your focus may be in the physical, right? And again, so if your soul is calling you to do something, you're like, that I feel like there's this energy of like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would I do that? Right? That doesn't align with the plans that I had for myself. And I want to lovingly say, if you resonate with this, okay, I want to lovingly say that God has a funny way of doing that. And I'm not talking about God from a dogmatic religious perspective. I say this a lot on my channel. I feel like I kind of have to. But, there's, like I said, God has a funny way of doing these sorts of things. God has a funny way of making us really, really, really uncomfortable in order to perpetuate our healing, growth, and evolution. Okay, I mean, even if you look back on the Bible, this has happened time and time and time again, where these individuals were asked to do something that they really were like, are you serious? Like, what do you mean? Type of thing. Okay, so I feel like this may be kind of the situation that you found yourself in. I feel like some of you may have taken the time to try, how do I say this? So like try to address this without actually addressing it. But I mean, that might not be the best way to put it. Um, because it feels like, how do I say, um, there's got to be a way for me to like move through this without actually going to that situation, or without actually going to that person or something like that. It again, it feels very kind of escapist or avoidant. Okay. Yeah. Queen of Swords in the reverse. I feel as though you've like been, I say this with so much love and there's no judgment, but I feel like you have been lying to yourself. I'm just gonna be honest. The Queen of Swords is very blunt, but very straight to the point, very, straightforward with truth. Okay. And so much so that she's often seen as this kind of like almost like a brutal or cold-hearted, cruel type of energy, right? Because it's like, this is how it is. This is where I'm at, and that's it. Like, point blank, period, end of story. But I feel that this is coming up because there is this energy of being dishonest with self or manipulating self, or something of that nature, right? I feel like there's something here that has not been clear, or the truth. How do I say? Like the truth has been muddied or something. But I feel like this is almost a good way to put it. I think is like self-inflicted, right? Because I feel like if you feel into the emotions, I feel like you know the truth. Okay, but I feel like there's an aspect that's like, I don't want to do that, right? Um, I do find it very fascinating as well that we have this lover's energy, which is Gemini, which is air. And you also have the Queen of Swords, which swords is also an air energy. So I do find that to be quite fascinating because I feel like there's a lot of that mind energy over emotions. And, it's not to say that we don't need our mind. We certainly do, but I feel as though there needs to be a balance there, which is interesting because the Queen of Swords is a representation of Libra. There's fear coming up as well, which I feel causes this imbalance. So Libra, for those of you who don't know, is the constellation of the scales, right? Or the symbol of Libra is the scales. And so again, I feel like there's that imbalance, right? Oy. Your guys' energy always is really fascinating to me. I just want to point that out. Oh, wow. Look at this. Page of Cups. Oh, okay. So Cups energy, of course, is, more water. And here's the thing. We were just talking about, the mind and not so much the emotions, but here's the emotions. Okay, with the Cups. Here's the intuition. Here is the, again, page, which is very much about, okay, be emotional, be intuitive, be intimate, right? Be vulnerable. Allow yourself to feel into those things. I feel as though that more sensitive aspect comes in. Okay, so I just got this energy of like when pigs fly. Okay, and clear, if you can see that there is actually a pig flying on this card. Because I feel like whatever this is for you, I feel like there's a feeling of what's the point, right? Like why would I face that thing, right? Like I don't know what this is, Pisces, but there's this energy of like it doesn't, like, again, I feel like it doesn't make logical sense to you to address whatever this is. But this has to do with the more sensitive, emotional, intuitive aspect of yourself. And I feel like, again, your intuition, your emotions have been delivering messages to you. Pages are often messengers. Okay? So whatever, again, whatever this is, I feel like you feel it deeply, but there's that element of ignoring it. And instead of addressing the thing, and instead of, facing it or whatever it is, there's this element of avoidance or escapism where it's like, okay, yeah, well, that situation will be remedied when pigs fly, or that thing will work out for the better when pigs fly, or whatever it is. This energy for you is very interesting. And here's the thing, I just want to point out, I was just drawn to this part of the card here. I hope you can see that. There's this heart shape being made between a hand from a being that you cannot see and what might be the more spiritual, if you will, hand of the page coming together and to make that heart shape. And in the middle of it is what appears to be like energy or some kind of connection that's been formed, right? And again, I feel like spiritually or intuitively, you know that God, source, universe, whatever it is, your higher self, is trying to make that connection with you and is trying to create something from that connection. So from whatever information you're getting, from whatever intuitive hits you're getting, there's something there that's trying to be created. And maybe it has something to do with love or romance of some kind. Again, cups are about emotions, relationships, feelings, love, and you do have the lovers out. So again, take it how it resonates with you. You also have the Five of Pentacles. Fascinating, because this is an energy of like being left out in the cold. This is an energy of being ostracized. This is an energy of lacking or needing something, being insecure, or maybe not having the resources or feeling like you don't have the resources. So again, there comes this energy with that's come through with the Five of Pentacles that is speaking to the insecurity I was picking up on, that I'm not enough or I'm not worthy of maybe whatever beauty this is or something, right? There's something here about not being enough, not having enough, or feeling like you are like over here. It's that same energy like when pigs fly, right? It's like I'm over here and whatever this thing is over here, and like I don't know how to get back to that, or I don't want to get back to that, or I'm like shutting that door and locking myself in. And I feel like there's something here. I again, this energy is fascinating to me, but also difficult for me to translate. So I do apologize. And I really do hope this makes sense to whoever needs to hear it. But there is this energy of like creating your own suffering or creating your own lack of something. 3333 on the clock. You may want to research that number more deeply. Maybe you've been seeing repeating threes, but threes are about growth. They are about the completion of a phase as well. They can also be about expression. It is the number of like mind, body, spirit, threes, and threes are also connected to groups, right? So I just really feel here that there is this energy that came through for you last month that was really bringing this to the forefront. That was really kind of maybe showing you how your actions have kind of locked you away, or your lack thereof, okay, the lack of taking action has kind of, isolated you in some sense. where you don't, where you feel like left out in the cold, where you feel ostracized or like you're lacking something or incomplete in some kind of way. Yeah, you do have here karmic board clearing, energetic clearing, rewrite your story, live your truth. Cannot make this stuff up, Pisces. Okay? Because I just said, with the threes, that's completion of a cycle, or excuse me, completion of a phase, pardon me. So I do feel like this is an opportunity for you to complete a certain phase and to move forward into something else. I also feel like this is an opportunity for you to rewrite your story, because there are feelings that are coming through here, which I've pointed out, which feel unworthy, or like you don't belong, or nothing is going to ever work, or something like that. And again, I feel like this is some kind of story that you've been telling yourself, or I feel like this could be about the story that you have written for yourself in regards to how you think your life should go, from a very kind of physical, logical perspective. And I feel as though source, universe, God, whatever you call it, has been trying to get you to pivot. And certainly to pivot in the direction of living your truth, which is why I feel that Queen of Swords is there in the reverse. And why we've been led to this story where it's like doing this, not living in your truth and thinking that you're unrealistic and, like daydreaming, has left you out in the cold where you feel unfulfilled or incomplete, or like you're lacking something. Or you don't feel good enough, or you feel like you're in need of something, right? It really does feel to me like this feeling of rejection. But I feel like I feel like the world has mirrored that back to you in some kind of way, shape, or form, because you are rejecting parts of your own truth. Again, take it as it resonates. This is a lot of this is a lot of time that I've spent in this section of your reading. I think it's probably the most out of the readings. But again, there's so much like back and forth that translating the energy is very difficult, because I feel like your energy is kind of all over the place. You also have here empathy. You feel and understand the emotions of another in the service of love. So maybe that's what it is, right? I did say that there was this feeling of maybe not wanting to face certain situations. Maybe this comes from the fact that you feel, in some sense, how someone else felt, or maybe you've considered how they may have felt in regards to certain unfoldings of things, and maybe that's what's kind of put you on the back burner, if you will, or has kind of put you in this position where it's like, I don't want to, like, I don't want to face that. I don't want to do that, right? I do want to read from the guidebook for you with this card as well. I just feel called to do so. So give me a moment. Let's find this. Oh, look at that. Like almost immediately open up to the page. Right. So again, this is the overall energy that came through for you in the month of October. All right. So it says here, you are able to learn so much when your actions originate from a place of love, and the souls in your immediate sphere are your greatest teachers. Being able to sense how others feel and see through their eyes is a gift. When you open yourself up emotionally and become part of another person's reality and make it your own, the boundaries between the two of you seem to fade. You begin to realize that you truly are of the same energy, and that the state of separation is purely an illusion. The golden rule of treat others as you would like to be treated is a mantra you should embrace. Understanding life from another perspective carries a great responsibility, for once you become aware of the emotions of another, you remain ever conscientious and are mindful not to cause them distress. I mean, that may be why there's all of this, let's just stay where I'm at. Maybe because you are aware of what took place. Maybe you are aware of how things transpired. Maybe you are aware of, and for some reason I feel like I got the word afterthought. For some reason I feel like maybe you could have potentially, made some calls or decisions that you now have allowed yourself to, how would I say this? It's almost like looking back on it now, you realize um, the pain perhaps that was caused to another based on your actions. Um, I'm a very strong supporter of doing what you feel you need to do for your own life. Okay, because you have to live with you for the rest of it. No one else has to do that. So I just want to make that very clear, because I'm not sitting here and judging. To say like, oh well, you did this and it caused this and whatever. There's likely a reason for those things, but there's also a reason why, if you are coming to this understanding where you now see how your actions can impact other people, that's a lesson for you as well. So everything happens for a reason, right? That person, if this resonates with you, was likely taught something based on your actions, and you now are learning from your own actions, right? So again, holy biscuits and gravy, Pisces. That has been the longest, I'm almost certain that's one of the longest like overall energy dives that I've done for the month of October. But it does feel like a big month for you, and it does feel like a lot of back and forth. It does feel like a lot of confusion. It does feel like a lot of, I'm going to be honest, like denying and escaping, and while simultaneously your intuition is trying to pull you to see truth. So it does feel like, a big month for you in that regard. So what came to an end for you? You have don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? I do feel like how do I say this? Some of the decisions that you may have made, Pisces, in the past may have been more reliant on, or how do I say this? Um, the decisions that you've made in the past, you could have made those decisions based on a more kind of codependent or approval seeking energy. Okay. This could be because there's wounding there. Okay. Maybe you have wounding around codependency or seeking approval or something like that. But I feel like, everything that took place in the overall energy was meant to be bringing you to a place where you aren't hiding from who you are, what you truly feel, how deeply you feel things, or hiding from your intuition, right? I feel like at the root, it's really about these things coming to the surface so that you are, again, not hiding from what is true for you at your soul level, at your depth, at your core. Okay. And I feel like in some ways you may have come to the realization that you have done that you have dimmed your light, that you have made calls or decisions based on, your wounding or trauma, or the seeking approval from other people. Maybe this has something to do with family or something like that. Also have the Knight of Wands here. Yeah, this is a fearless kind of energy. Notice how happy and joyous she looks there. The Knight of Wands is very confident, very daring, very passionate and adventurous and fearless. The Knight of Wands takes action, right? So I feel as though what's come to an end for you is this really, how do I say, like hiding your, I just got the words hiding your joy, or hiding from your joy. I feel like there's this energy of no longer sitting on the sidelines. There's an energy of releasing fear, right? Embracing more of that fearlessness. How do I say? Even if you haven't moved in the physical world on these realizations, it does feel to me like the energy shifted. even just like going from here to talking about this, the energy shifted. I could feel it. So it feels to me like, again, even if you haven't moved on this in the physical world, I feel like within you, there's again been this realization that's taken place. And I feel like there's a shift where you are exploring more of what will bring in for you that more passionate, fiery, lively experience. I really hope this makes sense, because it is certainly about not hiding from yourself. It's certainly about being confident in yourself. It's certainly about taking action and moving towards the, yes, the adventure that is living a passionate life. Moving toward what sparks fire within you, what makes you feel alive. Yeah, you have your higher heart activation, dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. You really, really cannot make this up. Okay? Because I feel as though, again, there's this kind of been this wall between you and your own truth, you and yourself. And I feel like that divine love has been coming in, right? It's been trying to come in. It's been trying to connect with you, trying to get you to see the beauty in life. I feel like some of you in the past have focused more on, for some of you, more horrific or traumatic experiences that you have had, and have definitely put up this guard, especially when it comes to deep emotions. Because I feel like in the past, you may have felt like those deep emotions have led you somewhere that hurt you, that caused you pain in some way, shape, or form. Now, this could be something you've experienced in this lifetime, or it could be, for some, something you experienced in a past life. Now, of course, that depends on whether or not you believe in reincarnation. But it really does feel to me like what is coming to an end for you is having these shields up. Again, I feel like there's this call where you are being guided and pulled towards that more passionate, heart-led space, right? Or pulled toward the things that are really going to ignite that fire within you. And this feels very powerful. Again, it's very, I feel like it, whatever this is, you probably know, because it's difficult to ignore. Okay? It's something that stirs that beauty within you, right? And I don't know why, but I feel like you got a taste. Like, I'm actually kind of seeing it like almost like a food sampling. I know it's kind of weird. But I feel like you got a taste of that divine love. You got a taste of what it feels like to be held for who you are, or seen for who you are, like, really. And I don't think that feeling has left you, even though you may have found yourself outside of that situation. I don't feel like that it's left you, because I feel like it's probably pretty hard to forget. And perhaps some of you would resonate with, getting a taste of that and then being incredibly afraid of it, because it's like, well, if that goes away, I don't know what I'm going to do. Right? I just heard it could destroy me. Um, and so if this is in regards to some kind of relationship with someone, especially on a romantic level, but it doesn't have to be. I feel like there's this energy of like, well, if I leave first, then I'm the one in control and I can, deal with it the way that, in a way that feels more controlled, that feels like I have some kind of power over it in some way. Um, but if that person were to leave my life, then and just leave abruptly, I have no control and it could rip me apart. I don't know why. That could be for someone very specific, but it definitely feels like, that energy of having these big shields up and not connecting with your deeper self or with your heart, your higher heart. I feel like that has come to an end, or at least what came through for you in the month of October gave you the opportunity to bring that to an end, or to heal it. So to drop them perhaps at least a little bit. Yeah, you have trust here as well. You have a strong connection to your soul's loving voice and have faith in your intuition. I feel like some of you struggle with this, and I've been talking about that for a long time. But I feel like some of you, what has come to an end, or what started to come to an end in the month of October, was that lack of trust in yourself, that lack of faith in yourself, that lack of faith in your intuition. I feel like some of you, I don't know why. I actually just heard like, why? Okay, give me that again. Why didn't I listen the first time? Or why didn't I pay attention? Or like something like that. It feels, because here's the thing, right, Pisces? I feel like that, ignoring or avoiding your intuition, I feel like it's contributed to some level of your own suffering. Okay, that could be rejection, it could be isolation, it could be feeling like you're out in the cold, it could be feeling like, you're lacking in some kind of way, or there's something missing, or whatever it is. I feel like there's this energy of like sabotage, right? Like self-sabotage. And so again, I feel like you've been put in a position where you had an opportunity to kind of bring more closure to this, where, there could have been this realization like, oh, my own fill in the blank is what brought me to this space where I now feel like fill in the blank. And so I feel like, you've been guided to trust yourself more, because I feel like your intuition was telling you. And maybe it took, how do I say, maybe it took like spirit, like bringing it up over and over and over and over and over. And like, it almost feels annoying so much, like it's been brought forward so much, that it took that repetitiveness in order for you to really kind of grasp like, oh, this is my intuition. Like, this is not just me dreaming and hoping and wishing something, right? Like, this is here for a reason. So again, I hope that makes sense. But I feel like this, if you took advantage of this opportunity, I feel like it had potential to really put you in a position to see things much, much differently, and certainly for your highest good. Certainly to try to put you in a position where you are living your truth, where you are moving from your heart, and where you're not dimming your light, where you're not hiding from who you are. So what has been reborn, renewed, or has begun for you, in the month of October, you do have awakening. Yes. Energetic upgrades, a new way of being, and integration. So again, I do feel like all of this energy that's come through for you was to align you with truth, was to awaken you to the truth, your truth. Okay. I do feel like it was meant to put you in a position where you are evolving, where you are growing, and where you had the opportunity to, as I said, really integrate these things, really apply them, really utilize them, really take advantage of them, allow them to transform you, to change you, to move you closer to what is true for you, or to align you with what is going to bring you fulfillment and joy and love and beauty. It feels like, yeah, I mean, I did see that 3333 energy, and I do feel like it brought, with it representing that growth, I feel like it brought forward also completion of a phase. I feel like it brought forward this opportunity for you to, again, experience life differently. And I do feel like there's some part of you that longed for that. Because, oh, this is interesting. So I'm actually getting this energy of seeking fulfillment outside of, like, seeking external fulfillment. Okay, so for example, and I say this with so much love, Pisces, a characteristic, pardon me, of your sign is that you can be very kind of escapist, right? And I feel as though there's this energy of avoiding what you know to be true within your own heart, within your own soul, but trying to fill that with external things or physical things while not following what your heart is calling to you. It's almost like, is there a way I can get around this and like make this okay without doing what I actually feel like I need to be doing? I mean, you guys, I'm just the messenger, but it feels very much like an avoidant or escapist stance on things. And again, I feel like this has all happened in order for you to position yourself in such a way where you are no longer seeking that fulfillment in places that are not going to bring you that fulfillment. I really hope that makes sense. You do have here the 5 of Wands in the reverse. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. I feel like this is avoiding conflict to your detriment. And this could very well be that internal conflict, okay? Where it's like, I don't want to do this, right? And I feel like it is to your detriment because there's potential in pain. Okay, and this is something that, New Age kind of, not always, but kind of skips over. You know, healing is not love, light, and rainbows and butterflies all the time. Certainly there are parts that are like that, or feel very uplifting and very good. But there's also a big part of it that is incredibly painful. Facing ourselves and our truths and our experiences and our trauma and our wounding and where we've sabotaged ourselves and things like this, like that's very painful. Getting very honest with yourself is painful. Actually, I say often the truth will set you free, but at first it's going to hurt a lot. Not a little, a lot. Okay, so again, I feel like there's been this avoidance of conflict, or what you may perceive as something that could create conflict, to your detriment. Okay, so it feels to me like this has been this fact, like you've been awoken to this, or right, like you've been shown that, hey, avoiding this thing has not served you. Okay. Yeah, look at the 6 of Wands. So that's incredibly fascinating that you move from the 5 of Wands to the 6 of Wands, because the 6 of Wands is triumph, victory, success. It can be seen in the limelight at center stage, if you will. And so I feel like this is the position that you may find yourself in, right? This is something that I feel like has been or started for you with the release of certain fears in the month of October, because it feels like putting yourself at center stage in your own life, making yourself the main character of your own life. It feels like stepping into the light, right? Not dimming to fit in. It feels like this is where I'm at, right? So it's very interesting because on one side of this awakening card, we have that energy of avoiding conflict to your detriment. And on the other side, which is where I will end up placing this card, is the Six of Wands, which is that stepping into the light. So I feel like this is what started for you in the month of October, is really transitioning from that I'm just going to avoid the things and be over here in the dark by myself to, okay, I'm going to step forward into the light now. Right? Yeah. And I feel like, again, if you resonate with this and this is action that you started taking, this is the direction you started moving in, or you took advantage of what was being reborn, renewed, or starting for you, I feel like there will ultimately be a sense of triumph or victory or success, right? Because Six of Wands is that energy as well. I feel like things will feel much better for you. And I think a big part of that is just simply because you're living in your truth, right? When we are living in delusion, when we're living a lie, when we are, ignoring our truth, that is a very heavy burden to carry. And the more you live in alignment with your truth, the more honest you are with yourself, the lighter things get, even if you have to go through heavy things to get there. Okay. You also have ancestral realm, karmic release, again, healing the lineage and boundaries. Yeah, I mean, you have this karmic energy coming up a couple of times now. So I certainly feel that the month of October for you was definitely, or did definitely have this focus on that karmic release and healing. Again, this could have something to do with things that took place in your past, in this lifetime, or in others, which is confirmed for me by this healing the lineage. You may be one of those individuals who is meant to be a cycle breaker, or the one to break generational curses. You may have felt like the black sheep. You may have felt like you didn't fit in. You may have felt like no one understood you. And that could very well be because you are the one who's meant to change all of that. Right? Because you didn't align with those stories. They didn't feel good to you because it's not how you're meant to be living. You're meant to be changing those things, being the change in your lineage or in your ancestral line. Actually, I do want to read from the guidebook for this card, the message as well. But again, I do feel like there's potential here for or there was or is, okay? Because I feel like this could be something that isn't just sitting in the month of October and not, bleeding into or flooding into the month of November. So this either has or could really create, like I said, a more lightness in your experience, because it feels like releasing burdens. And you may have created some kind of boundaries between yourself and those that were like, how do I say this? Again, like I said before, you may have been someone who was like approval seeking or codependent in some way, shape, or form and made decisions in that way. And you may now be in a position where you're not doing that, right? And created boundaries around certain individuals or experiences where you are expected to kind of, seek that approval. So it says here, this card initiates healing on all levels, but particularly on the family line. There may be some ideas and beliefs in your family that you find limiting or negative. Know that they need not be your truth. You have the opportunity to go beyond the challenging energies of your family lineage. If you are in a particularly challenging time or facing energies that are harsh and even overwhelming, the energy of your ancestors is with you now. They are here to hold a sacred and safe space so that you can rest. Your ancestors are surrounding you now. They are here to seek forgiveness for any harmful decisions that were made without full awareness and for any negative effects those are having on you now. If you have found that a particular family member has been difficult or a relationship has been negatively impacted because of situations or ideas that stem from the past, know that a great cleansing is taking place at this time. The ointment for the wound is the energy of forgiveness. This isn't about accepting what happened as fine, but realizing that the energies of the past no longer govern your present. It's about choosing to create your own happiness and live from your own heart. Keep your boundaries strong, but be open to carving out a new path. So again, it's very interesting because this is really bringing forward the energy of, like I said, what I said, right? The things that we've talked about already, it's confirming that. Okay. So again, take what resonates. But I feel like that was a really powerful message to come through, especially based on everything that we've already talked about. You also, come on. You also have individuality. You leave your unique stamp of love on everything you do. So again, the direction that I feel like you've been guided, or what has been rebirthed, renewed, or has begun for you in the month of October is really positioning you in a way that the truths of your past, or rather the beliefs of your past, the stories of your past, the stories that people have put upon you, or chosen for you, that you've bought and sold as your own, you don't have to adhere to those because your truth is yours alone. And again, you have to live with you for the rest of your life. And you're the only one that has to do that. So why would you not make decisions that are going to be fulfilling, that are going to bring happiness and joy into your experience, right? Beauty. Why would you not choose those things? I also feel called to just share. I'm getting fear coming up. But I also feel called to share that in Rudolf Steiner's work, which Gigi Young has an incredible YouTube channel where she talks about this at length. But in Rudolf Steiner's work, he talks about how our current phase of initiation as a collective on this planet is to develop our capital I, or our individuality, while opening our heart up and aligning with the Christ impulse within us. Again, not from a dogmatic religion space. Okay, this is outside of that. It's more. It's not as how do I say this? It is not as well known of teachings. That probably didn't make a whole lot of sense, but I think you get it. So not many people are aware of this. Okay, but that is our current initiation, is to develop our capital I, which means breaking free from those stories of our family, of society, breaking free from the programming of culture and all of these things, and aligning with our heart, okay? That's why you see Jesus with often depicted with that sacred heart, right? And so it's about purifying our hearts, connecting with that Christ energy, atoning and healing, and aligning with that Christ impulse so that we can continue to evolve. And again, one of the only ways that we can do that is by developing that I, capital I. So I think it's really interesting that this is coming up because there is this awakening energy, right? There is this focus on kind of seeing the past for what it is and moving more in the direction of developing that I and shining your light, making decisions that are best for your experience, that are going to bring fulfillment and happiness and joy. So you may want to explore that more for yourself if you haven't already. And again, Gigi Young's YouTube page is a wonderful place to start if you haven't done so. Again, she explains things brilliantly in a easy to digest way. All right, so let's take a look at the wisdom that will best support your healing growth and evolution based on everything that's come through here. Holy biscuits. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? I mean, again, it's that I said what I said energy, right? The wisdom here that's going to best support you is that you trust yourself, that you trust your intuition, that you trust your heart, and that you move according to those things, according to your truth, according to what you feel you should be doing. Knowing that you have the full support of your angels, your guides, Christ, God, source, universe, whatever you call it, your ancestors, okay? You also have, you have a lot of repetitive energy here. In Rama, where are you being called to journey to? Like I said, there was this energy coming through of like going to a certain place or a certain person and facing that. Okay? So I feel like, there is a focus here or there is attention being brought to acknowledging what you already know. Okay? Again, where are you being called to journey to? Because I feel like this is what's going to, again, best support your healing, growth, and evolution, even if it doesn't align with what the plans you had for yourself. Yep, we also have your Council of Light, Divine Orchestration, Helpers in the Subtle Realms. I mean, really, I feel like a lot of this wisdom that's coming through here for you is to confirm things for you. Because I feel like that's going to bring the best support for you. I feel like it's going to bring confirmation for you so that you can move forward in a way that will really bring about more healing, growth, and support your evolution in the best way possible. So, again, I feel like there's been a lot of your intuition and, different spiritual masters, angels, etc., that have been like in your face, in your ear, in your dreams, in your heart, like, hey, this is what it is, this is what it is, this is what it is, because they have been trying to support you and help you. And I do feel like certain things have happened in the way that they have in order to bring about to bring you to a space where you learn how to trust yourself, where you learn to not fear your depth, your emotions, what you feel called to do, where you don't fear your intuition, you don't doubt your intuition, where you trust yourself and you move in such a way that allows you to be in alignment with your truth, with what will fulfill you, what stirs life and passion and fire within your experience. You do have the 5 of Cups in the reverse. So the wisdom coming through for you here with this card is to accept things that have happened, okay? Accept things the way that they are, because there's nothing you can do about the past, and to move forward, right? How do I say? Find peace. Okay, I really feel like, you have likely, like many of us, experience loss and disappointment and grief and have regrets. Okay, but living in the past and reliving those stories over and over and over again is not going to serve you. You will not find fulfillment there. You can't go back there, right? What's done is done. And I feel like the wisdom that's coming through for you here is, again, to accept that things are what they are, to move forward from them, finding peace with them, and moving toward the things that will fulfill you as you move forward, right? The things that will bring you happiness as you move forward, the things that will fill your cup as you move forward. Yeah, you do have the Two of Swords here, so you do have a decision to make, Pisces, right? And I feel like, you know, your attention is being brought to this because it is your choice. It is always your choice. Okay. God, the angels, your guide, your ancestors, your intuition, right? Any being of the spiritual hierarchy is not going to force you to do anything, ever. Never, ever. Okay. So the choice is yours, right? And you can choose to stay exactly where you are. You can choose to deny what you know is true. You can choose to shut down. You can choose to, you know, live in a more, how do I say, just to keep living the way you've always lived, right? You can choose that. It is your choice. But I feel like you're at a crossroads right now where you can choose something different. You know, if you don't want to keep experiencing the same things, if you want to experience more of living in your truth and being more in alignment with your personal beliefs and experience the world in a more beautiful, fulfilling way, you can also choose that. Right? But I do feel like there's attention being called to, like, don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. Right? Don't just stand still. Like, you know, make choices that are going to serve you. You know, they may be difficult choices. Certainly, if you've devoted X amount of time to, you know, your life and creating something within your experience, and if your intuition is like, hey, I know you've been on this path for X amount of years, but we're going to ask you to go that way. I mean, that can be a really tough call to make. But it doesn't mean it's wrong. Okay? It does not mean it's wrong. Okay, but Pisces, when you are facing this decision, I feel like the wisdom that is coming through for you is to be very, very honest with yourself. Right? You do have Temple of Truth here with throat chakra, authenticity, and self-expression. You know, so again, there's this energy, you know, we have like communication here and expression with the Lovers. Then we have all of this energy of trust and truth, right? So again, you know, I feel like whatever decision you make, I feel the wisdom is make the choice that is in alignment with your truth. Okay. The throat chakra is, let's say, a representation of our ability to speak and communicate clearly and effectively and honestly. When it's imbalanced, okay, that is when we become withdrawn. We have lots of anxiety. We are very critical, harsh. We can tend to be gossipy even, or arrogant, right? And that throat chakra being open. So for example, when we are speaking our truth, when we're not sitting in a state of fear, that again is when we are much more communicative, we are much more honest, we are diplomatic, we are imaginative, right? I mean, so I feel like there's a focus here to be sure that you are expressing yourself truthfully and honestly and being authentic. Because here's the thing, even though the choice is yours, there are repercussions. Okay? With every choice, there's something that follows, whether it be in this lifetime or in another. Again, maybe you don't believe in reincarnation, but it will find its way to you in some way, shape, or form. So, I feel like there again is this very strong message of whatever choice you make, just make sure it's in alignment with your truth. And consider the repercussions of doing the opposite. Okay? Because I feel like you've already lived that, Pisces. Right? I feel like you already know what it feels like not living in your truth. I feel like you know the weight of that, you know the burden of that, you know I actually just got sleepless nights, you know the nightmare of that, like actual sleep nightmares, okay? And I feel like it's like, do you want to subject yourself to that over and over and over again? Because you have an opportunity to change it by choosing differently. Finally, you have spontaneity. You move beyond the constraints of the mind and freely and lovingly embrace new situations. What a way to close out your reading, Pisces, because that is a lot of what we've talked about, right? About the mind, about overcoming that logic, right? Overcoming that that hold that the mind has had, and to embrace something different, to embrace something new, right? To experience things differently. So it's incredibly fascinating. Again, I'm going to read from the guidebook for you before we close out this reading. I just feel like it could really drive home something for someone listening. Again, this is the wisdom that will best support your healing, growth, and evolution. In order to grow and expand as a soul, you must come to the realization that limitations are generally self-imposed. There is a security that comes with routine. Cannot make this up. A life lived with no surprises and within a comfort zone is very appealing in this chaotic dimension. But you have to be wary of stagnation, which certainly can be the Two of Swords. Spontaneity demonstrates to the rest of the world that you are ready for anything. And it is also a characteristic linked to high emotional health. Life is a smorgasbord, so stop constantly hovering near the boring salad bar. You will never know if you like something unless you experience it. Don't let fear hold you back. By its very nature, your soul yearns for new experiences. If something doesn't align with your spirit, that's fine. But at least you have made that discovery. That said, every soul has an individual path, so don't fall prey to peer pressure if you know in your heart that something is not right for you. At the same time, don't let the fear of new experiences stop you from doing something that will make your heart sing. I mean, and that's pretty much the gist of what your entire reading has been about, Pisces. So again, such a powerful way to close out your reading. I deeply and wholeheartedly pray that something in this reading has provided clarity or confirmation for you, or helps you navigate your experience as you move forward. If something here has resonated for you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. It really does help the channel to grow by telling YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else. And I greatly, greatly appreciate the feedback, as it helps me grow as well. So thank you for doing any of those things. I appreciate it. As you move forward, Pisces, I pray that you are able to follow your truth, whatever that looks like. And I pray that you do so fearlessly. I pray that you shine your beautiful, 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 compassionate, sensitive, romantic, empathetic, mystical, psychic, intuitive light upon everyone that you meet without fear. And I pray that you follow the things that are going to fulfill you, that are going to bring you happiness, that are going to put you in such a position that when you leave this life, you feel fulfilled, you have no regrets, and you are full of love and are connected deeply to your heart space, knowing that you've made decisions that are best for you, that are most in alignment with your truth and your soul. Peace be with you and within you. Take care of your evolving, truthful, growing, powerful, healing soul. And I hope to see you in November 2023's reading. Bye for now.